Hey everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It's Monday night, and this is Twisted Stitches, and I am here with, it's the Whitney and Paulette show. We are just having a blast, and Paul just came on and said to me, you have 1 minute, you better get going. But we have just been having such a wonderful, wonderful time working on all our fall, believe it or not, spring orders. Oh my God, I can't believe it's almost time for spring. Hello, Donna Nahalo. How are you, my dear? Up, can you hear me okay, Donna? Can always tell when I don't have Paul with me, because I'm always making sure everybody can hear me. And watch for Paul come on. Paul will come through the speaker. They're going, I can hear you. Hi, Darren from the Cape. Oh, here they are. Look, they're all showing up.
Yes.
I hear you fine. Thank you, Deb, and Donna can hear me. And Beth Ann from Minnesota. Oh, thank you, Donna. I love my sweater. We were just talking about that before the show started. We can hear you just fine, Nitty Gritty. Thank you, Paul. Hi, Jillian. And let's see, who did I miss? Rita Johnson, Cotterman, Darren from Cape Cod. I don't do it like Paul, but I'll bet you're happy I don't. Let's see what else we have here going on. Okay.
Nancy Parks.
Nancy Parks is in. I'm here and awake. Why, were you asleep? Gloria Hamilthes is here. Bev Reiser. Wow, we are such a great group of people. Robbie McCarthy. Hey, saying hi to Paulette and Whitney. Robbie, great shawl that you posted there. Little shawlette that you posted this morning. Hi, Nancy March. I just saw you the other day. And Nancy Robertson. Hey there, Nancy. No, I didn't miss you, Paul. I didn't miss you at all, honey.
We just heard you, Paul.
Right. Up. Judy Rondo Snitkin. Judy, I was telling Whitney the other day about when you went to, I think you were at the library or something, and somebody was wearing a lobster sweater, and you walked in and went, Whitney Terrell.
Lobster sweater's gotten around this season.
Hasn't it really?
It really has.
Yeah.
It's been very exciting.
Yeah. It's been the sweater. The sweater. Oh.
Paul already said it in the comments.
But I didn't repeat it. I didn't say it. I keep telling Paul, nobody calls it sweater weather. Only he calls it sweater weather. It's sweater weather. And hi, Anna Maria and Rayshawn Jones. Rayshawn, I hope you got your yarn. I sent it out to you last week. Patty Espejo and Debbie Masson Griffith is with us out in Pennsylvania.
You just never know what's going to happen when you're at the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl.
I don't know if you heard that, but that was Paul from the speaker. You know, no matter how hard I try, I can't get rid of him. Hi, Donna Masung and Robbie. Veronica New is with us. Kelly Kohlhofer. My goodness, Kim Kurtzetter. Well, Kim was at the shop on Saturday.
Oh.
And so she was here for our knit along. And one of the things that we were talking about was I said to her, what would you like to hear more about on the show? And she said, you know, how to switch out different yarns when you're not sure which one to use. And so that kind of was the impetus for our conversation today. And it was perfect timing because one of the things that Kim did when she was here was she looked at a pattern. She was looking at this pattern and wanted to knit this. And so we found the yarn for her and we made a yarn substitution. And, you know, it was a bit of, for me, a little bit of an uncertainty, especially when you're trying to help somebody to buy the right amount of yarn in a different yarn than the pattern calls for. And are you making the best recommendations?
So there are several things to take into consideration when you're substituting yarns. First of all, weight, which is like, you should have had a V8. You know, you gotta have the right weight of yarn. Or if you're combining yarns, to make the right weight, because weight is going to affect your gauge. And yes, if you're making a yarn substitution, you really do need to be extra diligent with your swatch, because not only are you changing the weight, you could potentially be changing the fibers that you're using. So different fibers in different yarns are going to behave differently. Like we know that alpaca and silk are slicker and have less memory than wool.
Right.
So that's, you know, something you want to take into consideration. So you can usually kind of substitute mohair and alpaca and cashmere in those like brushed yarns almost interchangeably, depending upon how they pair as maybe a carry along, which in the My Favorite Thing sweater, that was one of the challenges that you were working with. But when you're looking at like applied yarn or a chain construction, they're going to behave maybe a little bit more like wool when they're put in those constructions. So considering the overall fiber blend.
Well, that's an interesting thing you talk about with the chainette construction. So there's a new yarn that came out this year called Tula Tweed, and it's by Louisa Harding.
I'm gonna grab one.
Yeah, yeah, and this is a chainette yarn. And Nancy Park says Paul's haunting the store. Paul haunts everything, Nancy. So this is a great yarn, and you can see. Well, let me see if I can show you the chainette construction on this. So I was very surprised to see that it's listed as a worsted weight knitted on a size 10 needle. And so I actually reached out to get some responses, some clarification on that. And so what Louisa had said was that because of this construction, you need to knit it on that size in order for it to come out to the right gauge.
Right. So there's the elasticity is worked into the yarn by being a chain construction. So you're taking fibers that wouldn't stretch as much and you're constructing them into a yarn that is now more elastic. So by knitting them on a larger needle, you're putting tension. It's almost like weaving fabric under tension. You're putting tension on the yarn as it wraps around the needle. And then once the fabric advances in the rows below your needle, it contracts.
Yeah.
And like bounces back into an appropriate worsted tension. So
I found that very interesting. And
it is.
Yeah, it was cool. And there's a sweater. If I have the pattern nearby, I love the sample sweater that was knitted for this yarn. Let me see if I have it, because I was showing it to someone. I thought I might have it nearby, but it's here it is.
Yay! Yes.
Yes. This is really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So this is knitted with 2 different colors of Tula Tweed, and it's reversible. So you've got reverse stockinette on one side, reverse stockinette in part of it, and then stockinette in the other. But it's just such a cool sweater, and I love the design that they did on this one.
Right, because it's worked in welts.
Yeah, yeah.
So it does make that reversible. It's kind of fun.
Somebody said to me, well, what does it look like on the opposite side? And they said
the same.
Opposite.
I mean, generally the same, but also opposite. Yes,
right. Yeah.
Because stockinette becomes a reverse stockinette on the wrong side.
Right.
Yeah.
And the garter is garter on the wrong. The garter is.
Or reverse stockinette is stockinette.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Garter is garter on both sides.
Right.
If it's worked flat. Garter worked in the round is
it's stockinette. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Garter worked in the round of stockinette. How does that ever happen?
You have to, you're purling every row in the round to make a garter panel.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But it's technically reverse stockinette, so.
Yeah. So
it is interesting.
So that was one of the things that kind of got us to where we were tonight with the show and what we wanted to bring to you. Another question that comes up a lot is yardage. So if I'm combining 2 yarns together, and let's just say it's a fingering weight and a lace,
okay,
and it calls for 1,000 yards. If I'm going to use a sport, if fingering and waist equals sport, or what does it equal? Finger and lace equals
sport or DK,
right? Well, sport or DK. Do I need the same yardage, or because I'm now using only 1 yarn, do I need more or less of it, or do I get the same amount of yardage?
So you should be on the right track if you have the specified yardage, but it's not going to be 1,000 of this and 1,000 of that. And now you need 2,000 yards. You need 1,000 and then they're held together. So you need 1,000 of any given
correct
single yarn
right.
that is a comparable weight.
Right.
So, it could of not having a carry along could affect your row gauge. So as knitters, we tend to think a lot about our stitch gauge, and then a lot of patterns are written for, knit to a certain length. But anytime you start to change the variables in your project, you want to be able to check in really securely with your gauge. So, check your row gauge, check your stitch gauge, wash your swatch, lay it flat to dry.
Hey, Jody, how are you? Welcome home. So this is wash your swatch and make sure you swatch.
Yes.
So this was one of the things that happened this weekend with Kim. Because
look at that.
Yeah, so we tested a bulky held with a fine mohair. This was the 50 mohair shades.
Right.
And then we tested the bulky by itself, and there really was a little bit of a difference in
just enough
that if you went all around that sweater, it could make a difference in the fit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Nancy is asking, why wouldn't you need, let me get right there. Why wouldn't you need 2,000 yards? Don't both lace and fingering have to make it 1,000?
So we were going the other direction. So if a pattern calls for
excuse me,
1,000 yards of fingering weight yarn and 1,000 yards of lace weight yarn,
together,
and they are to be knit together, right? Then you only need 1,000 yards of a sport weight yarn or a comparable yarn to get to the same recommended gauge. So I think Michelle's saying if you're holding 2 yarns together and the pattern calls for 1,000 yards of one yarn, then you need 1,000 yards of each of the yarns. Yes. So if you're going from a single strand to 2 strands, then you do need double the yardage. So you'll need 1,000 yards of each yarn.
But you still need a total of 1,000 yards.
Right. So it depends on, are we multiplying? Are we adding more
or
yarns
dividing
to get to the right thickness, or are we dividing down to just have one to be the right thickness?
So Rita is saying, I'm always worried after I swatch more than once if it will be enough for the project. You mean if you'll have enough yarn? Well, you could take your swatch out.
Yeah, you could.
Because you're not using that much. Or what I always do is hold my swatch aside. And if I need that yarn, I know I have it.
Right.
So that's a good question though, because we don't know if we're using more of the yarn than we need for our project. That precious, sometimes the yardage is so precious that we want to make sure that we don't use up all the yarn. But you still have to swatch whether you're going to need that yarn later on or not. So I would just hold it aside, and it will be fine. So yes, we know that worked in the round. Garter is knit 1 row and purl 1 row, which we have all tried to figure that all out. But you know what? I'm happy doing whatever it says. So all right, let's see what else do we have here. So a couple of situations where we talk about swapping out yarns. One of them is the harbor sites.
Yes.
that Whitney designed for, and you're going to see this one. You're going to see more of this. Hi, Pam. Hey, Pam. Pam Rose is with us. The harbor sites. Pam designed that. Whitney designed this for our Noro event.
We've worked all day today. Usually when Paulette does the show, she doesn't have to work all day before the show. So she's like real fresh. So yes, we may make a few small errors, but you are going to get some good information. And
if you could see what's on the floor here, Whitney has suitcases like Pam. If you were going on vacation with these suitcases, they would have charged you and Anna $1,000 for extra suitcases going on, extra luggage on the thing. So tell us how you knitted this sampler or this particular piece with which yarns.
Okay, so this piece is knit with Hanui silk. These are all from the Noro collection. So I have Hanui silk is my main color.
Yep.
We have Corian as the striping section. As we get down to this color work, I'm going to lift it up a little bit because I'm not sure if who can see what. You've got some Madara worked in the color work. And then I went back to Kurion for my Indian cross stitch section. And then I have Rika in the fringe.
Yep. And so Whitney knitted this as a sample, and then we created samplers for Pam says a beautiful design by Whitney, not Pam. So
thank you, Pam.
So Whitney used those yarns in her sample, but then because we wanted to create a kit for everyone, we took all different Noro yarns that were within that same weight range and put them into the samplers. I am now knitting a sample so that we can create full skeins,
like more easily kit. Repeatable kits. Yeah.
Right. So that, but it'll be for the hat and the cowl.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool. So in this one, did you use the same yarns?
So I did, but I mixed up their placement. So I have the Hanui silk for the main color, your Madara for your mosaic section, your Rika for your colorwork section. And Rika is heavier than the other yarns. So by knitting it in colorwork, we're, taking into account the elasticity between the difference.
Right.
The elasticity of the floats. But we're still getting that 4 stitches to the inch ballpark gauge.
And it's almost, because there's mosaic up here, and then using the Rika below it, it's very textural.
It is. And that's very intentional with Noro yarns. Yeah. That's why you have those slubs. That's why you have that differentiation. And we're kind of embracing that here. So.
Absolutely. So let me show you what I'm doing. I'm actually knitting this, I said, to offer full skein kits. Where did mine go? Where is mine?
Uh-oh, we've lost a knitting bag.
We lost the knitting bag. Okay. And I'm having such fun with this.
Oh, Nancy, by work, what do we mean? Well, we've had work to do today. We had to shop for yarn.
She's saying, this is what she said.
Oh, I'm missing it.
You see that martini glass?
Oh, well, by work, do you mean?
No.
We don't mean drinking.
We haven't. No, that would not be work. That would mean play. So here's what I'm doing. So I've got my Hanui silk, which is my main color, and then I used this glorious Kurion. So I'm making sure that I'm off that when we put this out as a kit, we have enough of everything in the kit so that you can so that you get the right amounts of yarn to create the project that you want. And then look how pretty the design work is in a bold color, as pretty as it is here in the muted colors. It's kind of like this. I love the muted colors in the yoke on this, and yet I've seen so many gorgeous bright colors in yokes that it's whatever works for you. So from my color work, I'm using Madara, and Madara's got these great little flecks of tweed, I guess, in there that are just gorgeous. So they bring out some real beautiful brightness in there. There's a great pop of color, and I'm hoping that we can use this same color in the hat in this case to replace the Rika, but that doesn't mean that you can't use Rika in another one. So it's all about, absolutely. This truly is about changing yarns and still getting that same beautiful piece at the end without changing the weight of the actual project.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
So we're having a lot of fun with this one.
It's nice to, in these smaller projects too, smaller pieces, hats and cowls, to really get to experiment, to get a better understanding, because it's definitely the more you try and experiment and substitute yarns, the more familiar you're going to be with the different types, the different constructions, the different fibers, how they're going to behave. And then each instance is going to get better and better.
And we do our best when we're offering kits for things to get the right amount of yarns. That's the hard part for me, is like that yardage, making sure that I'm not offering not enough or too much in the kit. We want to make sure that we're giving you the best value for your dollar and you're not going to have all that, a whole bunch of yarn left over. So that's always a fine balance that we have when we're creating kits like this. So let's see. Kristen Parkhurst is saying, love your colors, Paulette. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Deb Mass is beautiful. Oh, hi, Lila Foster. And Jody is saying he's trying Curion and Andiamo Light for design right now. Yeah, we do find that mixing the yarns and the textures is really a lot of fun. And it really kind of adds a different dimension in so many ways. Yeah, figuratively and literally to the projects that you're creating. So it's really cool to do that. So we got a couple of other things here. What do we pull out here?
So we were just looking at this gorgeous design called Hermes.
Isn't that pretty?
So I mean, just great. I'm like, ooh.
There you go. You got it. Get it in the middle. Get it in the middle. Yeah, this I thought was beautiful. And Whitney came in today and said, "Is that your next knit along?" I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
So we went all around the shop and pulled some colors that we thought would be nice for this, and thinking about what we would want to use it with. So we knew right away it's DK weight yarn.
Yep.
So
it calls for DK, and we have lots of that here in the shop.
Oh yes. Not that. Not that.
Now that was sock.
Yes. So I'll let Paulette start showing you the original color.
So this is what we picked for an original color.
To be
Look
so
at that.
matchy.
It'll be very similar to what's there. She uses 3 colors, right? 1,
Yes.
2 colors and your main. Yep.
Yes.
2 colors and your main. Oh, look at that. Ray Sean said, I just printed that pattern. Isn't it gorgeous? Yeah, it's so pretty. So we've got these 3 colors. Of course, Michelle says that's her favorite weight. Yes, we know that. Michelle loves her GK weight yarns. And then there's something like this. Oh, was it these 2?
Yes, so this particular pattern has a really, really strong influence of Native people.
Yeah,
from Native American art from the Southwest.
Right.
So I said, oh, well, what if you substituted your dark color for a turquoise?
Right.
But you could do it either way. You could substitute
if you wanted, right? Oopsie.
I'm going to keep holding this up so you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So it's not always texture and weight. Sometimes it's colors, and we know that color can make us feel. It can make us happy, can make us sad. It all depends on what do you want to accomplish with your color. So I really like the white for the background on this. Do you agree?
Yes. So I think because this is inspired by a lot of pottery, I think you'd want to stay with that very neutral, but you could totally reverse. Like if you had a dark background, then you would need to pick a light and a medium, or maybe 2 different light shades.
So could you do this as the background and this as your colors?
Yes, absolutely. And I wish that on the screen, this was reading as turquoise as it really is. Like it seems so blue.
Yeah.
So,
but you can see when I turn up this way, you can see the difference of tonality in here, the tonals, and they're really very pretty. For
that's so weird. Hold those 2 up next to one another. Okay, so they look, now you can see the sort of green hue that's in the turquoise versus the blue.
Yep. And I like these 3 together too.
Yes.
These 3 are really pretty. Let me see if I can get those.
That would be really beautiful, that blue for the background color. If you went with a dark background, you could do those.
Yep.
Totally reverse the color play.
So Jody's saying he loves the white, blue, and orange, that like this one. The cream, blue, and green. I haven't thought about green. I don't call that green, but I guess it could be called green. Nancy Parks is loving the colors together. There's so much you can do with these colors. Now, with this particular yarn, this is Wasco DK Kettle Dyes. There's a lot of tonal in here, and that's why I like the solid white for the base.
Yes,
because you're going to get some movement in these colors when you're working with them. Right?
It is going to make those sections a little bit busier
Right.
to read.
Right. And so you want to think about that when you're putting those colors together. So that's one yarn that we would suggest for that. And then the other is our all-time favorite here is Patagonia. My God, but look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
It's
fantastic.
perfect. It's like spot on for the picture.
Right.
It's, you can knit it at a DK gauge very easily. There's a lot of warmth in this darker brown. There's actually, you can kind of see there's like a red undertone, and it just,
you keep saying yes.
It just goes together so beautifully.
So Deb Massa is saying black for the mane, hot pink, and something. Hold on a second. Let me see what we can find here. Black for the mane. So I'm going to go here. And she said hot pink and something.
Ooh, what about Alba?
Ooh.
Oh, Jody, we're going to have a treat for you. Hold on just a second. We're going to pull Jody Long's Alba yarn, which is a shop fave. We are so happy about that. Yes, yes, yes. Paulette is pulling a winner of color combination off the wall right now. So yes, that's even better than a really super bright cream. So in Jody's line, there is this like super beautiful, like it's sort of soft. It's like if the yarn was able to blush, that's the color of this.
Oh,
yarn.
That's why I call it. It's this. I think you mean this one, right?
Yes.
Baby powder. I call it baby powder.
It's so sweet.
All right.
Look at this.
Look at this. This black with the hot pink. And that. How's that, guys? That's stunning. That is stunning. This is gorgeous. That'd be really pretty.
It would be really beautiful.
So that's a combination. Wow. Yes, I agree. Well, I'm trying to read the comments and show the yarn and look at Whitney.
Look over here. Look over there. Run over here.
There's also a navy.
Oh, you know what? Because I like to play it safe. You could knit navy as the background and do all of your contrast in white.
Oh.
And that would be totally different. Like just edit out the small accent color, but it would be really graphic. Because you would, I don't think you would lose anything by substituting that, but you could simplify. That's pretty. Yes. Oh, gray. Paulette's putting together some great color combinations. So
this is my favorite part of what I do in the shop all day long. I can help people put together colors. So this is navy. And that hot pink. And this color is called winter. So it's kind of an icy blue gray with the blue flecks in it. Yeah.
Very fun.
Yep. And Michelle, look, everybody's so excited now.
Navy with lime green off white. So I'm thinking this really does need to be a shop knit along.
I think so. I think it might be. This is really cool. Yep. Deb Massa, that's a winner. What was the first combination? I thought there was a green. There is a green. You know what? Nancy, for you, there will always be a green.
The first combo that we showed. What was the first combo that we showed?
The first combo we showed was the hot pink, the gray, the hot pink, the gray.
Okay, so we had this one.
Oh, the first. I thought you meant the first combo in Alba.
Oh, I don't know. Did you mean the first combo in Alba, Nancy Parks?
Because that was this.
Oh, yes.
No, but there's but
look at that one. I was thinking the first one that we showed all together was the Huasco DK.
Look at this. I can't get the. Okay, there we go. Look at those three. The navy as your base, and then your green, and then this blue with it. I love it.
Gorgeous.
No pink for me. So there's your green. I mean, there are several greens. There's so much to choose from.
Yes.
Deb Massa saying a Zoom Cal for sure.
Yes, that would be very fun.
Yep. So that's what I mean. It's all about substituting yarns and colors. It- this whole thing started with gauge being important and yardage being important. When we are putting together a kit that is utilizing two different weights of yarns, and um, the Firebrand shawl right now is featuring Rove Soft and Louisa Harding Amatola Grande. So we're featuring these two. I just love the way these yarns work together. The fiber content, the texture, the feel is really great. And then the Louisa Harding is a bulky, and the Rove Soft is an Aran, but they work really well together. So that was that's a great combination. I also knitted it using Malvinus,
which is this is what Malvinus looks like.
Malvinus and Ito. So it's a totally different look. This and this is totally different than these two, but they both work the same. So Jody's saying, Whitney, you don't have to talk up my yarns. You don't sell them, but thank you. You know what? This is all about the customer, Jody, not about us. And so, we're here helping our fans choose the best projects, the best yarns for their projects. Yeah, these are gorgeous in Firebrand. You want that really bright contrast in Firebrand, just like you do with this sweater. How do you say Jimenez?
Jimenez.
Yeah, so we're having fun working with all these different colors and all these different textures, and helping you all to come up with the best combinations for projects you have. And as we say all the time, don't be afraid to look at different options, because those options are going to help you to have the project that you want. We're going to do our best to guide you along the way and make sure that you're not going way out of whack. And it's like Kim did the other day, knit a swatch while she was here, and that helped her to see, how is that gauge count going to work. So, so Rayshon says, is there a dark gray and a maroon?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I just wanted to say, whenever you're questioning, can I make a substitution? If you're doing some late night stitching or looking or planning, or you're shopping on the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl website, take a hop over to Ravelry and look at a couple different versions of the projects. Look at the different yarns people have used, and not necessarily do you have to look, did they use the exact same brand of yarn that I want to use, but did they use the same style of yarn? Are they using something that's variegated? Are they using something that's self-striping? Are they using something that is a tweed? Or are they using something that is completely flat and completely a solid color? Take those things into consideration as well, and it'll help you maybe refine your search, because there are so many options.
So, all right, dark gray and maroon. So we got gray and maroon, and your black as your base color.
That would be fantastic.
Yep. Cool, right? So yes, there is a dark gray and maroon. Actually, I kind of like the charcoal as your base color. And then this is a really pretty maroon. This is called Kilt. If you're looking at it, it's called Kilt. And then I like this soft gray to go with it. And I like keeping all the albas together because of the tweed effect in them.
Yes.
As opposed to mixing. Here's where we go about mixing different yarns. Now, that doesn't mean that this wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah. You could absolutely use Patagonia and Alba interchangeably weight-wise, but there is something special about, having that tweed.
Yeah.
And in Alba, it features a different colored tweed that's like specifically designed to complement the main color of the yarn.
Right.
So in this like light robin's egg, you've got almost a royal blue tweed fleck. And then here's the vice versa. You've got a little bit of a, light blue and purple in this royal.
Right. That's why I like these together.
Yes.
I love those two together because they're like the complete opposites of each other.
Yes.
And they work really well together.
This one, though, is one of my favorites because it looks like it has funfetti sprinkles. The yellow and green and blue on the pink.
Yeah, it's got
so
some great
fun.
color in it. Yeah. Yeah.
So fun. You don't oftentimes see that. But
this
really
is
fun.
So Nancy's saying this is a great topic for trying to incorporate pop-up sale purchases. I think it's a great topic for trying to incorporate anything that you have in your stash too. Because if you think about your stash, you go through there and if you're as organized as Jillian is and you have everything in different bins, right where they are, God bless her. And you can go and you can pull different DK weight yarns that would work really well together. Rayshawn, I'll call later to order.
She said tomorrow then.
Yes, tomorrow. That's fine, Rayshawn. I'm sure we'll be able to work with you tomorrow to help you get that done. Yeah, I do like those
we
too.
would love to do that.
Yeah, here, I'm going to put these three together. Whoa. These little balls of yarn are pretty big. And so I'm going to put them together and I'm going to put them over here so that when you call me, I remember exactly which colors we were looking at for you, hon.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have put together some fantastic combinations. There's lots of inspired knitting going on out there.
Yes, we're having a lot of fun.
It's the season now, the weather. Hopefully the weather where you are, you're starting to feel like whatever that change is.
Yep. And we are loving that change. I'll tell you, I got dressed this morning. When Whitney got to the shop, I said, I had a different shirt on and I said, I wore this shirt because I'm changing into my doodle sweater because all my sweaters are here in the shop. I don't have anything at home. So whenever I want to wear something, I have to come. Be quiet, you.
Can you all hear him?
Can you hear Paul when he starts talking through the? Paul is not with us on screen, but you can't get rid of him. So every now and then, he'll put up something like this. Jillian is the bomb. Kelly Colehover saying it's cool up here. Yeah, so Paul is helping us from afar. I don't even know where he is. I think he's up in Schenectady. I'm looking at the blink camera, like he can talk to me.
They can't hear him.
Oh, they can't hear him. Good. It's a good thing.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't have to listen to Sweater Weather too many times. Only we had to listen to it. So that's all good. It's been a wonderful, wonderful night. I love meeting with all of you. It's always fun when we have Whitney on the show. Thank you, Whitney, for joining us.
It's fun to be here.
Yeah, we had Whitney was with me today. We're looking at spring yarns. I can't even. It hurts my head. I can't think. I tell her it's like this is like being on a ride in Disney World. There's all this fun stuff coming at you that you want it all. And then you go, wait a minute, I can't have it all. Winter hasn't even started. She's like, you got 6 months before you get to see it. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. So it'll all be good. We've got a great show for you next week. We have Marcy Mara, the designer of the Imagine Poncho, is going to be on our show with us. And we've got even another surprise for you the week later. We will let you know what that is. We got more and more things happening. The Fiber Festival of New England is coming up in a couple of weeks. We're getting ready for that. The retreat is coming up in the week after the Fiber Festival. So we are running full steam ahead into the fall and into the winter. And we really appreciate all of you. And Whitney, thank you for coming out again.
Thank you for
having me. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. And we will see you all next week. Thank you so much.